Hey, everybody, welcome back to Kill by Daylight. We have a few updates to the Choose Your Own Adventure chapter that's coming out in the relative near future. Kinda. We'll get into that in a moment. But we got the guns out because we've been lied to. A lot, actually. I've been saying it this entire time. Like, it feels very shady. The whole, like, hey, we know you chose this thing, like, by a large margin. You sure you don't want to take a look at the other one? Maybe vote the other way? We'll give you a chance to rescind your vote. Choose something different. Right? I've said this entire time, I've called it out every single time it happens. It's like, if you don't want us to pick something, just tell us what you actually want us to choose. Right? Because it's a fallacy of choose your own adventure, as they do say in the clip we'll get to. And basically, we've just been lied to, right? They really don't care what we've chosen, and this entire Grimoire update, prototype wrap-up, pretty much goes into it. But we'll get to that. Let's not bury the lead, right? There's big freaking developments after the last vote, right? We got some stuff to talk about, okay? Show this clip for real quick
We want
from
to
year
be
9
able
anniversary
to
broadcast.
create a chapter from scratch with all of you, building every step from pre-production to the end of the process.
Yeah, so it's going to lead us up to our 10th anniversary. It's going to be an awesome experience that we're going to...
That's why I keep saying it's the 10th anniversary chapter, right? Because it's leading up to the 10th anniversary, and you think, naturally, oh, they're going to reveal it at the 10th anniversary. It's the 10th anniversary chapter. They did an AMA shortly after the polls closed. Everybody went to the polls. It was great voting. They closed the polls, and then they did an AMA, and this was the first thing. Big shout out to Mint Skull for actually doing this video, because I was looking all over the goddamn place because I remember seeing it somewhere. But somebody asked, will this be the 10th anniversary chapter?
The Grimoire be the anniversary chapter? The devs have officially confirmed that this is not going to be the anniversary chapter, so expect...
So that's not it. So this is not the 10th anniversary chapter that I thought it was going to be, and I think a lot of people thought the same way, that it was going to be the 10th anniversary chapter. So there's still time. Where's my copium? Shit, I misplaced it somewhere. So that was big news, right? That was like, oh my god, this is earth-shattering. Too bad at that time Resident Evil Requiem came out, and as the Easter egg I showed you, I could not care less about the Grimoire update. Sorry, not sorry, suck it behavior. But we have this now, right? Hiya, folks. TLDR, a bunch of people got early access, which we're going to be taking a look at for the prototype, because we got to bite off Poppy playtime, apparently. That's a joke. If you can't understand jokes, I'm so sorry for you here. They gave some creators early preview earlier this month, and we'll be looking at one Spooky Loops' footage. Take a quick gander. What is the prototype? Who gives a fart? This is where the interesting stuff comes in, right? The Ray of Retribution, right? What we were sold was, right? Kamehameha Beam, like, oh, fuck, that's gonna be awesome. From here we are from the beginning. You may have seen some early iterations of the Ray of Retribution. If you're new, we ultimately land on a vertical pillar that the killer has the ability to control, and then launch towards the survivor. That was the first lie. Check. Lie. Effect. Sin. Sin is the killer effect tied to the killer's power. We originally explored different options related to how sin builds up. We decided to move forward with sin building up when a survivor is hit by the killer power. This introduced more skill to the equation and made it more rewarding for both parties, as it more directly depended on the ability to hit as killer or dodge as survivor. All right. Doperino. They say here, we tried to have sin building up over time, sin building up when you're inside the beam or performing specific actions. We're not going to go through the comments of this Twitter thread because fuck, it's all just people being like, you day 40 blah 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 requesting this character from this obscure series to be in it. Like, good try, guys. They're not listening to the people that actually fucking play the game and are actually involved in this community event. They're not listening to you at all. So right there, sin number 2. Sin number 2. That was a Freudian slip. Hey, I saw a lot of people being like, it should have just been like, you know, we're dealing with sin. We're dealing with the Bible. It's almost like there's 7 specific deadly sins in the Bible. Now, obviously, I mean, lust could be like teabagging at a pallet, right? But like stuff associated with the 7 deadly sins would have been so fucking complicated that behavior would have never been able to do it. Convinced. I have to rewrite scripts about, let's talk about chapters that I could see coming to the game, because I'm like, fuck, my idea, too good. That's not a flex on my part. That's a going, oh, I understand what behavior are capable of, and this is a bowl of spaghetti that we're working with. That's never gonna happen. Sorry, Pennywise. Oopsie doopsies here, guys. So, the fact that they, changed it from that dope... What is this clip? I haven't seen any of this. Like, dope-ass Kamehameha beam. And like, okay, you dealt damage with that burst, but it also did build up. That looks pretty fucking good to me. But they said, I don't know where they say it, but like they say eventually, like, oh, in our playtesting. Like, who's the fucking playtester here? Your devs that are like, it's too hard to code. Dope. It's another killer that you have to apply an effect and then hit them again to do a damage state and then hit them a third time to fucking down them. We're doing the same shit again. This is Sisyphus rolling up a fucking tentacle strike from Nemesis up a hill. This is bullshit. This is terrible, terrible design. We have enough of those killers that need to be reworked to have like an actual ability that does damage the first time you hit somebody, not the third time you hit somebody. Sorry, artist, you're cool in concept, but throwing a bird at somebody that moves about, slower than a goddamn snail. I could not care less. I should just be having that song play constantly over these videos, because I just could not care less about this chapter. This chapter ain't for me, it's not for you, it's for the devs, if anything. Shrines. Shrines are special objects tied to the killer power in early stages. Survivors could reduce their time spent in the exile by collecting crystals. Placeholder name. Placeholder name. Yes, I should get to work on that script that also deals with crystals, and now I have to go fucking rewrite it because they can't fucking do that to you. Collecting crystals, placeholder name, while other survivors could help by praying at a shrine. It turned out that giving players the ability to save themselves discouraged cooperative actions. I could have told you that about 6 years ago when I started playing this game, going, oh, that guy should have healed me. Well, I guess I'm fucked then. Yeah, your game does not incentivize cooperation. It's almost like you keep taking out blood point bonuses from perks that incentivize cooperation and altruism. So we pivoted to the shrine, allowing survivors to pray to save their teammates from exile. That's not too bad, right? Trying to set the activation time as survivors sent into exile before other survivors can interact with them. When a survivor is saved from exile, they respawn next to a shrine. The cart is before the horse right now. The horse is down here. The cart is up here, right? Because they're explaining what happens, or how to save yourself from exile, but they haven't explained how exile works yet. Damn, Elon, you have like the shittiest, like... Yeah, like that's fine. That's a fine mechanic, right? That's fine. Having people go around collecting crystals that can save themselves, and then they have to go save a teammate by praying at a shrine? Nah, fuck that. My medkit is for me, not for you, Jimbo. So, that's fine. Hopeless Exile. In earlier version, the Exile was a plane where hazards erupted from the ground. Only one survivor could be sent there at a time, and their goal was to dodge the hazards. Failing to do so would extend their exile timer. The feedback we received was that the exile lacked interactivity, and that the survivors felt too safe. Again, who's giving this feedback? I personally would like to know, because if it's like, I guess it's these guys up here, right? King Asimov, Paulie, Super Alf, Spooky, Otts, Mint, Toonie, Hens, Mish, like, okay, respected members of the community that know what they're doing when they play the game. Like, okay, I would love if you just, like, signed Otts and Spooky and Super Alf and these people to just give you fucking insight on, like, prototype builds so they can go like, hey, this shit don't work, homie, change it to this, and you go, oh, okay, we'll write that down. And never do it, but we'll write it down and make it look like we did it. The Exile was designed to feel threatening, so we increased the complexity by changing how hazards and crystals spawned. That's when it started behaving exactly like being hooked. Once sent there, a survivor's hook drain timer would start. Without being saved, they would die. We also explored allowing the killer to enter the Exile, but it didn't make sense within the gameplay loop. Time efficiency is critical to killer gameplay. They announce it. Oh my god, they say it out loud. They know. They understand that RNG that speeds up gens fucks the killer. Oh, that's not what they're saying. They're just saying in this instance and not like... Got it. Understood. And leaving the entity's realm significantly reduced the killer's ability to maintain pressure during the trials. No, they are saying it out loud. That their event where you have to go into the void to get a survivor sucks. Yeah. Okay. Even when the killer's time in the Exile was limited, playtest feedback consistently showed that the payoff did not justify the time lost and was inefficient for the killer. So you gotta dodge Spire Beams and then collect... Chaos Emeralds is what I'm going to call them. Yeah. Like these Pillars of Light, one, it's already an asset in the game because the one map add-on, or the one map add-on that used to exist, I don't know if it still does, where you can mark wherever in the realm with a map so teammates could see it. So that's why I'm like, maybe they changed the Kamehameha Beam because they already had something already made that they could just do easily, right? Because we know they changed it to a knockoff version of Dracula's Pillar of Fire. I guess now it's the Henry's otherworldly vine attack or whatever that's called, but like it's a pillar, I guess. Yeah, but they like also you wouldn't be able to do like the side the horizontal beams because then that's kind of hard to dodge for survivors unless you could duck under them. But then that's a whole like I could not care less. I could not care less. And this is that. Hey, the Blood Moon started. Did you know that? I did, and the game doesn't fucking work right now and hasn't for like 2 weeks. Appreciate those, like, 1.5 million blood points. Love it. Let's go on to gameplay. This is Spooky, of course. Trusted source Spooky Loops. First look at the Grimoire Killer. This is all new to me.
At the new upcoming community-made killer.
So that was...
As you can see, things are going to look a little weird, but that's quite okay. We're still in the testing phase, it seems. So this is the charging of the pillar. You can kind of adjust the trajectory of where you want it to go, and that's kind of the beam. That's how that works.
So it looks like you like the Henry Creel, right? Underworldly things. You have that thing, but also it sums it down. It sums it down, and then it moves. I don't know how that's better than a straight beam. Great question. I have great questions. Yeah, because he lets it go,
and now
that hits.
Survivors up there are sinned, so it's kind of like you have to. It's kind of like getting them weakened before you can actually inflict damage, which is interesting.
No, it's not. It's bullshit. That's fucking terrible. Afflict them with a status so you can afflict them with a status that actually does damage to afflict them with a status again that puts them in the dying state. See how stupid that sounds? That's what's happening. That's what's happening with about 4 fucking killers on this roster already.
Alright. Alright, yeah, yes, you can only hold it for a brief amount of time. But what
That's
we want
fine.
to do is we want to be able to get somebody into exile, which is what we're doing right now. So we just downed a survivor.
How though? How did the Meg? How did you injure the Meg? She's not
Which
injured.
is interesting.
I'm looking at it. I'm watching that. I'm looking at it super good.
Yes, you can only hold it for a brief amount of time. But what we want to do is we want to
She's just suddenly fucking injured. How does that work? How does that work? Do they have sin for long enough they get injured? Because she just kind of like healthy.
All right, yes, you can only hold it for a brief amount of time. But what we want to
And
do
then
is
she's
we
just
want to be able
injured.
to get somebody into exile.
Now
Which
she's
is
dead.
what we're doing right now.
I don't
we just
understand how
downed
that
a
happened.
survivor, and we're gonna banish them to exile, where they're gonna have to do an assortment of mini games. I'll show that right now, so you can take a look at what it looks like. So when a survivor is sent to exile, they are transported off map and is the equivalent of being on hook. While in exile, pillars alike can strike down on the survivor, decreasing their hook timer, as you see here. They can use artifacts to collect crystals, and when charged, they extend unhook protections, and also grant temporary haste to aid in dodging the pillars of light. These are also not instance-based. Multiple survivors can be in here at once, as you see here, and if all 4 survivors get sent to exile, then the match is essentially over. To rescue someone from exile, survivors will need to pray at shrines to return their teammates. Shrines initially are inactive, and that's probably to avoid someone just instantly pulling them out of exile. And what we saw, survivors respawned at a unique shrine, not necessarily the one that they were collected from.
So they said people focus more on saving themselves, not saving teammates, so they can. What the fuck? I'm just straight up confused about this exile stuff. Because they told us nothing about it, said vote on an exile. And we went, what the fuck's that mean? Vote on it. Do it. I'm like, alright, shit. Okay. So in exile, it starts the hook timer. You get hit by the pillars, it increases the hook timer? She got hit by it, but it no go down? Got hit by it, but no go down. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna need like official shit. Right? Like, this is great. This is great seeing like early access stuff, but it's like, it's concerning. It is concerning how janky the entire thing not looks, right? Because it's supposed to look janky. It's fucking alpha shit. Like, this is alpha build, right? But like, you get hit by a pillar and it does something. Spooky, tell me again. I'm dumb. You have to say things like 4 times for me to.
An assortment of mini games. I'll show that right now, so
An
you can take a
assortment.
look at what it looks like. So when a survivor is sent,
You have to go in there and play fucking Rainbow Road, Mario Kart Rainbow Road to get out.
exile, they are transported off map and is the equivalent of being on hook. While in exile, pillars alike can strike down on the survivor, decreasing their hook timer, as you see here. They can use artifacts to collect crystals.
Increase the hook timer. So I guess the longer that you're in exile, that's what I take it as.
And when charged, they extend unhook.
That's what I take it
And
as.
also grant temporary haste to aid in dodging the pillars of light. These are also not instance-based. Multiple survivors can be in here at once, as you see here. And if all 4 survivors get sent to exile, then the match is essentially over. To rescue someone from exile, survivors will need to pray at shrines to return their teammates. Shrines initially are inactive, and that's probably to avoid someone just instantly pulling them out of exile. And what we saw, survivors respawned at a unique shrine, not necessarily the one that they were collected from.
So you have to pray at an altar to save a teammate. Okay. But my question is now, does it work like a hook state, right? If you're on, like, the hook timer goes down, does that mean you... Getting sent to exile would count as a hook state, right? That's hook state 1, so if it ticks down far enough the next time you get downed or hooked, that would be death. Right? That's how I'm assuming it would work. So it's not going to work. It's not going to fucking work. People are not going to go to the shrine and be like, I'm going to pray for Jimbo to come back. People aren't going to do that. I've played this game for 6 fucking years. I have enough time in this game to know that altruism don't work, as I said before.
Ooh, got a hit there. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. So I think you can do like a lot of zoning stuff with this too.
That's all they can do is zone. They're a projectile killer, basically. Wondering what the tell for the Pillar of Light will be.
Damn, okay.
Or if it just appears
So
and you have
kind
to
of
clench your butt.
It's kind of like a nurse blink a little bit, but it actually just inflicts damage. So we can also hook the survivor if you want to, or you want to send them to exile. Which I would recommend always sending them to exile, it seems.
Yeah, because you take them out of the game. Somebody has to do an extra task that takes longer than the unhook process. Yeah, just you would always want to send them to the cage as Pyramid Head, unless you're me and you're like, I got you. You stepped in my spaghetti. I'm not going to send you to the cage because I'm going to wait for your second hook state so I can mori your ass. But if you're a smart person, you always send them to the cage because it is farthest from everybody's location and people have to actually go out of their way to save the person.
The downside, though, is obviously certain perks are not going to work when you're sending them to exile. Like, I'm not going to be able to use pop. I'm not going to be able to use any hook-based perks that activate.
I've been saying for the longest time that they should actually change how those work because of Pyramid Head. But then again, the excuse against that is Pyramid Head is the only killer that can do that sort of thing. Work around the hooks. He doesn't hook people. He puts them in cages. Now that we have 2 killers that do that, maybe they take a look at that stuff. Who knows?
Beam is cool. It has some delay a little bit. Nice.
Yeah, you gotta hit them once. They're afflicted. Hit them again. Now they're injured. Hit them again. Now they're dead. It is terrible game design.
Ooh.
It's just terrible game design, man.
Beam goes really far.
Imagine if Pyramid Head, keep bringing them up because that's what brought me into the realm. Imagine if like you had to hit them with your Punch Me the Damned to afflict them with something, and then do it again to actually damage them once they are afflicted, and then hit them again to down them. It'd be fucking garbage. Imagine if Spirit had to hit you with some weird power to afflict you with something. That way it can do damage the next time you're hit and then down you the 3rd time you're hit. She wouldn't be S tier, she'd be F tier.
I'm getting... Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, you can do that. Interesting.
Oh, you can... Oh, no, never mind. I thought they were like, oh, I'm fucking controlling the beam.
Fast.
Me thinking exciting things and not like boring shit.
Okay.
There's definitely going to be an add-on to make that thing girthy. You know that, right?
Fascinating. Okay.
I can
So
tell
looks
that.
like you're able to like kind of curve this thing.
It's got a range on it that you can actually place it at. That's long.
Okay, we did send somebody. Nice. The instantly here.
It is going to be one of those powers where you use it to tell where people are. That's how I see it. Like, you're gonna get people, you're gonna hit people with it, but it's like, I don't know. I do not like the thought of a 3-hit killer again for another anniversary.
Mention too is there's a little bit of
No, Nemesis and Artist were definitely not anniversaries. But it's such a bad concept. It's a bad gameplay
me making excuses, but
mechanic.
definitely is input lag a little bit because we're playing remotely. Nice. Okay, so you can hit like directly through floors like that as well. Fascinating. Let's see if we can hit from Shack. And that's where it goes. Wow. Okay, so you can do things like this. So around the Shack, I want to go and set it up like this, and then have it go that way. Yeah, it definitely has a learning curve for sure, 100%.
Which is fine. We need more killers that have learning curves.
But it goes far. It goes pretty damn far. The problem is
We need killers that are more killers that are complex enough to have a learning curve, and more killers that are just out of the box, like you know how to play them. We need both spectrums.
Is like when you have this, it's very easy. It's very easy to like overshoot it. It seems. We get it down there, perhaps. I totally missed. Yeah. Okay, so doing things when they're really, really close to you, obviously is gonna make it a little bit easier to not miss.
I mean, it's another killer where you use their power at a vault or a pallet drop, so you have an easy hit.
But the beam goes like damn far, man. Look at that. What is happening right now, then we can inflict damage regardless of sin. There you go.
What procs that?
Then we...
No, he is sinned.
What is happening right now, then we can inflict damage regardless of sin.
What?
Yeah, you got it down there, nice. Perfect. And it's the equivalent of like a pyramid head cage. You don't have to worry about like getting pallets saved or anything like that, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the big bonus to it.
Another thing to mention is when you're playing this, is like you kind of want to wait and try to see if the survivor's gonna dodge. So if they're up close, just go ahead and send it. That's not a big deal. See if we can catch him. Okay, someone just came out of exile. I should be empowered. Ooh, close.
What does that mean? What does that mean? You should be empowered. Does somebody coming out of exile give you a bonus to your beam where they do not need to be sinned?
Okay.
Is that what that means?
So close, yeah. It's definitely interesting. It's gonna be a lot of guessing, So like predictions and things of that nature.
Who was in charge of like flipping through the players? Because I would like to see the killer side of things. Since we're not dealing with perks, I'd like to see the killer gameplay instead of fucking Jake.
There we go. Okay.
That's my
And then we
question.
can send them to exile. There we go. That's the sin. Let's see where he goes. Let's set it here.
I'll say
Fire
flip
there.
the fuck over. God damn. I'm curious if we get to see an early version of the Mori, right? That's the only exciting thing at this point.
Can't wait to see the final product.
Whiff.
So we can pretty much stay first. We have to apply sin, and then you can go. You can do something like that. Okay. And let's see how far it goes. I'm pretty sure this goes pretty damn far. Yeah, it does. definitely want to wait. Definitely want to wait and see what the survivor does first.
You can say the same thing for Hunter's hatchets.
That's Sin there. And let's see. See if we can turn it. Yeah, it's. I wish there was a way to maybe adjust and turn it in terms of like, because it definitely feels a little finicky when you're trying to send it around a corner. See what I mean? Let's try this. Let's see if we can go outside of the gate and send it in. So you can do stuff like that. Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of.
Can you send it back my way? Okay, you can't. So once it goes, there's no way for you to pull a 180 with it. So you can't send the pillar back your way. So my friends, that is my brief playtest of the Grimoire Killer. We only had time to play 1 round each, so I definitely look forward to seeing the final product. I'm sure the input lag definitely played a role in this, but the beam does have a definitive learning curve, that is for sure. Once you cast the beam, the only way to stop it is to kind of set a waypoint for the pillar, and then it just goes. But it does look like it travels pretty far, and obviously it does travel through walls and surfaces and things like that. Another thing I wanted to mention is there is a second state to this killer, which is called Empowered. This wasn't available during the playtest, but once someone returns from exile, your pillar will deal damage regardless of sin or not for a brief amount of time. So it kind of gives the killer a short power surge when a survivor comes back to the map, which I think is going to be cool. Also, the yellow diamond you see when the killer is casting the beam will only be for killer POV. When we were playtesting, it shows it to the survivor currently, which can definitely make things super easy to dodge. But I've been told that the final product will have this removed from their vision, and it's only going to be for killer POV. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. Comment below what you think.
I hope it's a lot better than just a diamond. That'd be really cool. Oh, I do not have high hopes. I do not have high hopes. It looks like a knockoff Dracula. That's what it looks like. I don't know why. It is an all-powerful divine being. Has to inflict you with a thing to hit you again to do damage. Why not just have the empowered mode all the time? Or maybe have that be a ramp up to empowered mode? I think that would be interesting. Like, you start the match, you have to hit a survivor 3 times to deal damage with your beam, and then you send X number, you send 3-4 people to exile, right? Doesn't matter if it's the same person twice or whatever, just an X amount of survivors sent to exile. And then once that happens, you are now empowered, and your beam could do just a damage state without being sinned. I don't know why we keep going back to this shitty well that is afflict you with something, then hit you again with the same power to do damage. The first hit doesn't do damage. I don't know why we're doing that. I don't know why we're doing delayed damage. Again. Like, you already have Artist, you already have Nemesis, like, fucking stop, right? I would throw Trickster in there too, because you have to, like, build up the blade meter. But at least that's an interesting take on things. Like, you can't put Wesker in there because Wesker can actually throw your ass to a fucking brick wall and, like, damage you. It's a terrible gimmick. Fucking let it die and go rework those killers into something that's actually good and interesting. Because then we still have fucking Skull Merchant, who, not the same, but you still have to be afflicted by the drone for something to happen. It's like, that is a waste of a power. Why bother? I don't like this chapter. I definitely don't. This chapter's not good. It's not gonna be good. Thank God it's not the 10th anniversary. Hopefully we get something big and bright and from Crystal Lake and, you know, just something fucking interesting that is actually worthy of a 10th anniversary. Because then we could start at the highest high like we did with FNAF, and it could be all fucking downhill for year 10, like it is for year 9. Fine, whatever, right? But then again, maybe this will just be the speed bump in the road that is year 10. We'll get fucking Jason at anniversary chapter this release, and then we'll get like 2 big, like, licensed chapters that we've all been wanting. I don't know. Year 10 with this in it does not look like a promising year. I'll say that. I'll say that. We know what... We did this. We did this. Who did this? We did this. This is a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And fuck, it's looking gangrenous. I'll say that. It's not looking pretty. That'll do it. That'll do it for this episode. We've been lied to. That is the big thing. They're changing things that we voted on because it doesn't fit their narrative or whatever excuse they want to give, or it's hard to playtest. Playtest didn't go well, or the typical excuses behavior give us. And they will never say anything about it during a live stream because it's the same like rigmarole that they give. So, yay. For now, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, do the YouTube stuff. Just do the YouTube stuff. I'm not gonna even ask you if you enjoyed this because these videos are now just me raging against a machine that refuses to listen to its fan base all the time. So, do the YouTube stuff. And until next time, I'll see you in the fog. Maybe, if the game decides to fucking work for, like, a solid, I don't know, day. That'd be pretty cool. I would like to play the Blood Moon event. Server issues. I've been playing the game for a week. So, I'll see you in the fog eventually, I guess. Good luck.